Philippines. In the news, the principal suspect in the murder of OFW Joanna Demafelis is now in the custody of authorities in Lebanon. Civic groups, including priests, hold a protest opposing more policies of the Duterte administration. And an attempt to break world records, at least 15,000 individuals attend art lessons in Quezon City. Good afternoon, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Thanks for joining us. Lebanese authorities have arrested the principal suspect in the murder of overseas Filipino worker Joanna Demafelis. Foreign Affairs Secretary Alan Peter Cayetano says President Rodrigo Duterte welcomes the news of the arrest of Essam Assaf, a Lebanese national. He adds it is a critical first step in the quest for justice for Joanna. Assaf and his Syrian wife are the suspects in the death of the 29-year-old Filipino worker. Joanna's body was found inside a freezer in an apartment in Kuwait, where it may have been kept for over a year. The Philippine Embassy in Kuwait reported Assaf's arrest to Manila on Thursday. Assaf's wife is still at large.
News reports here that the mother is saying the mother of Nader is saying that his son cannot do such a crime. Of course, she's a mother, and that he left. She visited the couple here in Kuwait, but she left because she cannot take the supposed physical abuse done by the Syrian wife against Joanna, like banging her out on the wall and hurting her.
Villa says Assaf faces death by hanging. He adds they expect to receive from Kuwaiti authorities the official report on the arrest as well as the autopsy report on Joanna's body by next week. Authorities say Joanna had torture marks on her body and it's possible she was strangled to death. Joining us now on the line, Eva Demafelis, the mother of Joanna. Magandang hapon po, Nanay Eva. Thank you po for taking our call.
Po.
Nahuli na po ng mga otoridad sa Lebanon ang isa sa di umano'y suspect sa pagkamatay ng inyong anak. Ano po ang reaksyon nyo dito, Nanay Eva?
Sana po mahuli na din yung kanyang asawa.
Yung asawa po niya ay isang Syrian national, ano po, at pinaghahanap pa po ng mga otoridad. Pero sa pangyayaring ito, Nanay Eva, umaasa po ba kayo na mapapabilis na ang proseso para makamit ang hustisya sa pagkamatay ni Joanna?
Opo, sana po maging mabilis po ang proseso.
Sino po ang nag-update sa inyo tungkol sa mga balita sa pagtugis sa mga suspect sa pagkamatay ng inyong anak?
Andito lang po yung panganay ko. Ito po, oh.
So, you're in touch po with OWA. Yung OWA po ba nagbabalita sa inyo tungkol sa update?
Hello.
Sa investigasyon?
Yes po. Ay, sino po to?
You're live po
Hello.
on CNN Philippines. Kausap ko po si Nanay Eva.
Apo.
Noong Thursday po, gusto ko lang po itanong, dumalaw po dyan si Pangulong Duterte sa burol po ni Joanna. Pakikwento naman po, ano po ang sinabi ng Pangulo?
Yun nga po yung may natanggap po kaming na yung galing po sa OWA saka sa kanya po. Tapos ang pinag-uusapan namin doon yung sa kapatid ko na tinutugis na rin po yung mag-asawa na yun na pumaslang sa kapatid ko.
Ano po ba ang sabi sa inyo ni Pangulong Duterte tungkol sa panawagan po ng pamilya nyo na makamit ang hustisya?
Yun po na nananawagan po kami kay Pangulong sinabi ng mother ko, hustisya, tapos ang hiniling rin namin po doon yung mga gamit na yung cellphone, pinaka-importante doon, yung cellphone para makatulong sa investigasyon sa kaso na dahil parang mayroon siyang hinabili na mga bago sa amin na maltrato ng amo niya, mayroon siyang record.
Yun po ang balita ni Pangulong Duterte?
Yun yung pinarating namin sa kanya. Tapos, yun yung sinabi niya nga rin sa amin na gagawin niya ang lahat para sa sa kapatid ko. At yung mga sa mga ano niya po, yung lalo na po sa OWA at saka sa POE, DOLE, nabanggit niya rin po na nagtutulong-tulong naman po sila.
Okay, ano na po ba ang plano ng pamilya ngayon?
Sa ngayon po, kumukuha po kami ng mga update galing po sa OWA, saka sa DOLE, POE, dahil po sila yung maghahatid po sa amin ng update na report dahil sa mag-asawa na po na yan.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Thank you for your time. We were just speaking to the brother of Joanna Damafelis and earlier, Nanay Eva, the mother of Joanna. Another top story today, civic groups, including Catholic priests, are holding a walk for life to oppose some government policies. Our Rex Remitio is joining us from the Quirino Grandstand in Manila. Rex, what are these policies that they disapprove of? Can you tell us?
One of them is the passage of the divorce bill in the committee level in the lower house. Religious officials are re-emphasizing the value of strong Filipino family ties, and they're saying that the divorce bill will do nothing good but only to break up more Filipino families. And they're also calling on Filipino couples to uphold the sanctity of marriage throughout their lives. Aside from their anti-divorce bill stance, they're also calling for an end to extrajudicial killings under President Duterte's war on drugs.
Pero ang kanilang tinatapakan ay nabahira na ng dugo. Ang kanilang nilalapakan, ang kanilang pinaglalakbayan ay punong-puno ng mga bakas ng karahasan at pagbabaliwala sa buhay.
Manila Archbishop Luis Antonio Cardinal Tagle, in his homily, also says we should value life as a gift and not a commodity. Tagle says we now live in a world of throwaway culture, where we value only everything as functional and throw them if it doesn't do us good anymore. Tagle did not make any direct reference to the president's policies like the war on drugs, but he emphasized we should also value the life even of those of our enemies and people whom we think are criminals. The Manila Police estimates about 2,000 people, including priests, nuns, and students, attended the gathering. They marched around the Quirino Grandstand, where they uttered prayers at every station of the cross. They held the rosaries while walking. Even some persons with disabilities attended the event. Opposition personalities also participated in the event, like opposition lawmaker Teddy Bagilat and the former Aquino cabinet members Dinky Soliman and the brother Armin Luistro. And they're saying that they were there not to politicize the event, but at least to join and fight for what they believe is right. Mai.
Rex, are they also protesting the president's charter change proposal?
Yes, because they believe it's part of a dictatorship that is being groomed by President Duterte. And they're also calling on Filipinos to be more vigilant, not to allow the Marcos-era martial law to happen again. Manila Auxiliary Bishop Broderick Pabilio is also saying that this event, the Walk for Life event, is connected to the 32nd anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolution on Sunday. Mai.
Rex Remitio reporting to us live from the Quirino Grandstand. Today marks a year since Senator Laila de Lima has been detained in Camp Crame. She was arrested for her alleged involvement in the illegal drug trade at the New Bilibid prison. Our senior correspondent Cecil Ardizabal spoke to de Lima's brother about the family's thoughts and their hope for justice in this administration.
For a year now, Vicente Vic Boy de Lima has been seeking justice. Justice for the former Justice Secretary, Senator, older sister, and prisoner Laila de Lima. He narrates how the family was shattered when the senator was arrested a year ago. They simply couldn't understand how she could have been handed such injustice after dedicating almost all her life to public service. Still, there's a bright side.
At the same time, this particular situation in our family has made us closer. You know, with her in detention in Camp Crame, we get to visit her every Sunday, at least once a week, every Sunday.
De Lima's youngest brother talks about the changes the senator has undergone and what her life is like in detention.
She looks better. She looks sexier, actually. And, you know, the weight loss is not because of depression, but because she's really, she told us that she's not anymore eating rice for dinner time. After 5, no more visitors. So what she does is she prepares dinner for herself, and she does reading. She reads the Bible. She reads some books. She talks about the cats that are with her. You know, I guess my sister also fond of dogs, and now she's also fond of cats. You know, there are about, as for her last count, there are 11 stray cats that gives her company when after 5 p.m.
Vic Boy has very few words about President Rodrigo Duterte, his sister's arch enemy.
The country deserves better.
Although it's difficult for the family to find even a glimmer of hope for justice under this administration, Vic Boy says they still keep the faith. They join friends, supporters, and human rights groups in seeking for De Lima's release and freedom.
She became a target of a very vicious vilification campaign by no less than Duterte himself.
Senator Antonio Trillanes, De Lima's most vocal supporter in the Senate, delivered a privileged speech on Wednesday in defense of the detained senator. Minority senators have filed a resolution making an impassioned call for De Lima's freedom. De Lima was slapped with 3 illegal drug charges filed before the Muntinlupa court and a civil case at the Quezon City Metropolitan Trial Court. If there is a bit of good news for the detained senator, it's the recent dismissal of 3 ethics complaints against her. Since being elected into office in 2016, De Lima has authored and co-authored 64 bills and 78 resolutions. Of these, 40 bills and 58 resolutions were filed, even as De Lima awaits to take her seat again in the Senate. Cecil Ardizabal, CNN Philippines.
Still ahead, tomorrow the nation will remember a historic day, the EDSA People Power Revolution. But President Duterte is going to miss the commemoration yet again. And the Philippines loses 3.5 billion pesos daily due to the worsening traffic. A transport official explains why. That's up next on Newsroom Weekend. Good evening good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. Thank you for joining us on Newsroom Weekend. Ngayong tanghali, apologies, inopen ko lang po yung Facebook Live natin dito sa aking cellphone. I'd like to read your greetings. Marami po ang reacting. A lot of you are reacting to the story on the arrest of the principal suspect in the death of Joanna Demafelis. Yung mga nagre-react po, si Reville Mel, Paul Barakiel Daro, Yok Hizon, Dennis Lainez, Vanji Jan Tim, at si Lolit Javier Mercado. Thank you po for joining us. Newsroom on CNN Philippines. Welcome back. Preparations are underway for tomorrow's commemoration of the 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution. George Cahiles tells us President Duterte will again miss the event.
A freshly looking statue, new Philippine flags, and a rehearsal of the Salubungan, or reenactment of the meeting of the police and military from their camps along both sides of EDSA to support the people in ousting then strongman Ferdinand Marcos. These are the preparations for the 32nd anniversary of the 1986 People Power Revolution on Sunday. More than 3 decades after the turning point, the National Historical Commission of the Philippines says Filipinos have the power and knowledge to determine the correct EDSA narrative in the wake of fake news and historical revisionism.
Well, meron tayong kasabihan sa kasaysayan na we have one past but we have many histories. Kanya-kanya pong pananaw, depende po sa perspektibo kung sino ang nagsasalita at nagsusulat ng kasaysayan.
Former President Fidel Ramos is a people power leader, and he will be this year's guest of honor and speaker. Organizers say President Rodrigo Duterte will again miss the activities, while Vice President Leni Robredo has yet to confirm her attendance.
Gusto namin balikan yung kagaya ng nangyari ng 1886 na magkaisa ang Pilipino, na wala na dapat mga kulay, wala na dapat political affiliation. So ang pagdiwang talaga natin dito, yung naganap na pinagmamalaki natin sa mundo na pwede tayo magkaroon ng pagbabago na hindi kailangang gumamit ng dahas.
Portions of EDSA's northbound lane from Ortigas to Santolan and White Plains Avenues will be closed to traffic from early morning until noontime. Militants will stage protests beginning 5 in the afternoon.
The son of the tyrant, the mother of the tyrant, the sisters of the tyrant, the relatives of the tyrant, the cronies of that former tyrant are all back. And Duterte no less said, Marcos is my hero. And that's why he gave him a hero's burial.
Around 1,850 policemen will be in the area of the People Power Monument and EDSA Shrine to maintain peace and order. The PNP says it will carry out maximum tolerance during protests. George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
3.5 billion pesos. That's how much the country is now losing daily because of Metro Manila's horrific traffic. That's up from 2.4 billion pesos in 2014. A report by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA, says another 2.3 billion pesos per day are lost as traffic also worsens in the neighboring provinces of Bulacan, Laguna, Cavite, and Rizal. A transport expert says the spike in daily losses by more than 1 billion pesos over only 3 years means one thing: congestion is getting worse.
Kasi tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman yung pagdami ng sasakyan, yung influx ng tao, no?
Yeah.
Pati yung development, no? Yung density ng development natin. Tapos yung sprawl ng Metro Manila, di ba, kumalat na siya doon sa mga karating probinsya. Even without measurement, we know so because you see all the projects going on right now, no? So hindi pa sila online, hindi pa sila operational, no? So actually the projects that you're building right now are contributing to congestion. MRT7, for example.
Well, transport officials say the latest JICA study should be properly evaluated. The government is optimistic its massive infrastructure program would substantially ease traffic once the road networks are in place to accommodate more vehicles. The government says this year alone, 34 infrastructure projects will be rolled out, including the country's first subway in Metro Manila. The Transportation Department admits traffic is getting worse, but officials say it also means the government is on the right track. Speaking to CNN Philippines, Transport Undersecretary for Roads, Tim Orbos, says the government's figures on traffic are somehow aligned with JICA's report, but he says the worsening traffic is due to several reasons, like government's infrastructure projects and population growth.
We have to acknowledge that the economy is getting better, and therefore there's a lot of transactions going on. You have a lot of cargoes going left and right, and I agree that the project as well of the government is adding to this in the meantime while it's still being constructed. Population is another reason. Remember, we're talking about 2014, and it has really ballooned up to 2019. So probably the most important thing here is that we do acknowledge that traffic, as they said, is has worsened, but it also means that we're on the right track as government.
Still ahead, change is coming for the Philippine Olympic Committee. They elected a new president. And can the country set a new world record for simultaneously learning art? Find out when Newsroom Weekend returns. On Facebook Live. Thank you for your greetings. Si Lodi Apo Kaba, Marion Jane Kaalem, and si Salik J. Solaiman. He is watching from Dubai. And also si Aisha de los Santos Las Pinas, watching from Vietnam. Thank you for joining us today. Marami ring bumabati, si Carls Lianilo Garcia, at si Alvin Ignacio from Palo Alto, California. Also, our makeup artist, si Jeff Bungkasan, is watching. See you tomorrow again, Jeff. And si Brian Ibrahim is saying happy weekend. And more greetings from Yo Kizon and Jojo Kimpo. Thank you, guys. The Newsroom's back with more stories. Big news in sports. National Boxing Chief Ricky Vargas is the new Philippine Olympic Committee president. Vargas won the court-ordered special elections for the presidency yesterday. He replaces Jose Peping Cojuangco, who led the committee for 13 years. Vargas received 24 votes against Cojuangco's 15. A revelation from Filipino figure skater Michael Martinez following his second Olympic experience in Pyeongchang, South Korea. Our sports desk anchor Andre Felix tells us more.
That's right. Olympic figure skater Michael Martinez shares in a Facebook Live interview that he had called it quits after he initially failed to qualify for the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics.
I actually retired after the Germany competition, which is the qualifying round for the Olympics. So I completely retired. I hanged up my skates. I went to find a job. And
are you serious? Like retire, or just break lang, take a break?
No, I retired because like
from figure skating.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no Olympics, what's the purpose of my life? You know, I mean, that's every athlete's dream. If you want to, if you want to be an athlete, you want to go to the Olympics. So if there's no Olympics, then what's the point?
Last Olympics na ba to? Bakit?
I mean, there's no point.
But there's still more Olympics. Like,
yeah, but like,
and you're 21. You're
that's
still
true.
Young. Okay.
But, I mean,
but you were really like you wanted to hang your
yeah. I mean,
okay.
I mean, if 2018 is the Olympics. If you can't make it this Olympics, there's no point in going to another one.
Martinez booked his spot at the Games less than a month before it began after another figure skater apparently withdrew. He finished 28th out of 30 contestants in the men's singles event. When asked what's next, Martinez says he will take a break from figure skating for now. We have more of the week's top sports stories on Sports Desk Weekend. I'm Andre Felix. Back to you.
Two members of Team USA are making history at the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, not just for their athletic accomplishments, but for opening up about their personal lives. CNN's Will Ripley explains how these out and proud athletes are changing the culture of sports.
For the only two openly gay athletes on Team USA, Pyeongchang 2018 will be defined not by medals, but milestones.
Hopefully it opens people's eyes, opens people's hearts, changes people's minds.
For freestyle skier Gus Kenworthy, a public display of affection for his boyfriend he was too scared to make after winning silver 4 years ago.
There's so many people in different parts of the world that face jail time, death, and the fact that this kiss was beamed into their television is incredible to me.
I think that me using my voice has given my skating a greater purpose.
For figure skater Adam Rippon, a political stand against U.S. Vice President Mike Pence, declining to meet with Pence at the Games. The Vice President, a longtime opponent of gay rights.
I could even get emotional thinking about it, but like, I've gotten so many messages from young kids like all over the country that my story has resonated with them, and it's incredibly powerful.
Veteran sports journalist Christine Brennan has covered 18 Olympics. She says the Games give athletes an unparalleled platform with a rich history of cultural milestones.
In 1968, you had the Black Power salute. And of course, now we have Adam and Gus, openly gay athletes, talking about their lives. 50 years from now, people will be looking back and talking about Adam and Gus.
Brennan remembers a time not too long ago when gay Olympians had little choice but to live secret lives.
Several decades ago, athletes just could never have risked coming out. They would have lost everything, sponsorship, what have you. Think of Brian Boitano and the skating shows. All that he had that came out of those Olympic Games, all gone if he had come out.
Brian Boitano won figure skating gold in 1988. He waited 26 years to come out in 2014. Boitano was a member of former President Obama's delegation at the Winter Games in Sochi.
I felt great about supporting the president's message because it's such a powerful statement, as a powerful way to go into Sochi, and it was a powerful time. The focus on sexuality now, it's happening because it needs to happen to promote open-mindedness from the public and more people. And once that happens, then hopefully people won't have to talk about sexuality as much anymore.
Today's out and proud Olympians are amplifying their voices on social media.
Adam and I may be the first U.S. openly gay Winter Olympians, but we're definitely not going to be the last.
Kenworthy says many athletes are still hiding in the closet. He hopes to convince others there's no reason to hide anymore. Will Ripley, CNN, Pyeongchang, South Korea.
Figure skater Adam Rippon has certainly drawn worldwide attention, and so did Sally Field's gay son. Now, what happens when Sally steps in and plays matchmaker? CNN's Jeannie Moose reports.
How do you get a date with Olympic skater Adam Rippon? Get matchmaker Sally Field on the case.
Well, something has to be done about this.
Sally's 30-year-old gay son Sam has a thing for the openly gay skating star. Leave it to Mom. Just some really helpful advice from my mom on how to deal with my Olympic crush. Texted Sally, Sam, he's insanely pretty. Find a way. And then she found a way, tweeting the exchange to Adam Rippon himself so he'd be sure to see it. Yikes, said her son. But really, who better to play Cupid than a former flying nun? The internet swooned over her matchmaking ploy, tweeted someone, that's endearing. My mom asks if I'm still gay. Sally Field's always been one of those parents gay kids love, winning an equality award from the Human Rights Campaign.
Little boys and girls who realize somewhere along the way they're just different from their other brothers and sisters. And so what?
A fierce attitude in keeping with Rippon's out and proud personality. BuzzFeed reports the skater called her attempt to fix him up with her son bold, and Rippon passed on this message. Sam, your mom, I admire her, and I'm sure one day we're going to meet, so thanks, Mom. Or maybe mother-in-law?
The miracles I have wrought.
Mrs. Lincoln, a.k.a. Sally Field, told BuzzFeed, Sam was mortified. I have to butt out now, but I would like to see Adam in the family. As one poster tweeted, never argue with a flying nun, especially one hoping to see a romance get off the ground. Jeannie Moose, CNN, New York.
What a cute story. Now, before we go, how's an art lesson for a world record? Earlier today, at least 15,000 students, teachers, parents, and art enthusiasts gathered at the Quezon City Memorial Circle in an attempt to break the world record for the largest art lesson. The event was dubbed as Pinasayang Sining. It was organized by stationery shop Expressions in collaboration with the Quezon City government and the Education Department. Data from the event will be submitted to the Guinness World Record. India holds the current record for the largest art lesson. That's what's happening in the newsroom this Saturday, February 24. I'm Maya Rodriguez. Catch the updates at the top of the hour and Newsroom 6 p.m. edition. Sports Desk Weekend is up next. Good afternoon.